Good day. We're just going to be running through the code for the POE. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first we're going to start with the ingredient class, and we're going to create properties to store the ingredient details such as the name, the quantity, and the units. Alright, so first we have the name, and we have a getter and a setter, the property to store the names of the ingredients, and we have a public double quantity. Right, so the reason we made this a double is because the quantity of the ingredient could be a whole number or it could be a decimal. So we want something that could encapsulate both. So we have a property to store the quantity, and then we have the unit. So the unit is the units of measurement, so millimeters, cups, teaspoons, tablespoons, all of those type of things. Alright, so then we're going to proceed to our recipe class, and this is where the magic happens. Alright, so first we're going to create a recipe class, and then we can see there's a list here that stores all the properties from the ingredients class. Alright, and then this here, its original ingredients is going to be for the scaling. Alright, so that we store all the original ingredients that the user entered before. Alright, and then we have a list here storing the steps property from the ingredients class. Alright, so let's go into it. So alright, we have variables here: recipe name, num, and steps. Alright, so these are going to come in handy later, and then we're going to create a new list. Alright, so this is going to store our recipes in the ingredients list, and this is going to store the steps for the ingredients in the steps list. Alright, so it's very simple stuff. Okay, so first we're going to create our recipe. So we have our method called create recipe. Alright, so first we start with the boolean is valid input false. Alright, so this is going to be for our while loop, so that it loops back to the prompt if the user enters an invalid property. Alright, so first we start with asking the user for their name. Alright, so first let's go into our print util class. Alright, so this is where another part of the magic happens, and this is where we have our print constructs. And this is basically, instead of writing console.writeLine each time, we just store them inside these constant variables, and we call them inside our recipe class. Alright, like so we have console.writeLine print util, this is the name of the class, and then we call the constant variable from that class. Alright, then we just we have recipe name. Alright, so this is the variable that I was talking about earlier. So this is where we're going to put the user's input. Alright, so here you notice that there's no console.readLine, we just have a readLine method, and this is because we created a public static string print line. This stores console.writeLine. Alright, are we together? Alright, good. So first what we're going to do is we create a while loop, right? Because we want to enter the number of ingredients. Okay, now we know this is an int, so we created our integer. Okay, so what we want is for the program to keep running when the user inputs something wrong, like a string variable or something of that sort. So if the user were to enter, for example, a instead of a number, the program will throw you an error message saying please enter the number of ingredients you want, and emphasis on number. Alright, then the user will be like, oh, let me enter a number. Okay, and then they're going to enter a number. Once they enter the number, we jump to the next step, which is our for loop. Alright, so now you notice how we have our num ingredient here. Alright, so this is for our application, or at least this section of our application, to loop our ingredient, to ask the user to enter ingredient name, quantity, and unit for the number of ingredients that they want. So this is what it is. Alright, so you notice here there's another try catch, and this is to catch our int exception. If the user doesn't enter an integer variable, it will catch the error and ask them to enter the ingredient quantity again. Alright, and then we continue here. We have our display units, and notice that I+1 here. This is just so we can add the number of ingredients or steps for the ingredients per iteration. So we'll have number one, display ingredient name. Alright, so to ask the user to display the ingredient name, but it will have number one displayed next to it, so the user can still know which ingredient they're on. Alright, good. So next we're going to, you find another while loop. This is again once just so the thing can loop back if the user inputs an incorrect value. Alright, so here we have for num steps, so we ask the user how many steps they want in their program, and then it's going to loop the number of steps they must add per thing. Alright, are we together?
Alright, good. So next we're going to move on to the scale. Alright, so we have our scale method. So we're told we need to scale the ingredients from 0.5, 2, or 3. So half, double, and triple. Alright, so this is where things get a little bit tricky, but not to worry, I'm here to guide us through it. So we have our if statement that stores the list for our original ingredient. So this is what the user originally inputted in our create recipe class. Alright, so and we have our console.write line, choose scale from half, double, triple, or reset to original. Alright, so moving on, we're gonna make this quick. Alright, so we have string scale choice. This is what the user is going to enter. It's gonna read the user's choice. Alright, and then switch statements. This is from another method, so it's gonna scale the recipe from half, double, and triple. Then we have another method here that's going to display the original recipe. Then we have our default message for if the user enters maybe a number that doesn't exist or an integer and whatnot. So we have our recipe. So we have our scale recipe. Alright, so yeah, we have our console.write line for some space, and then here we have a for each, right? So it's gonna take, so we create a var variable, alright, called ingredients in ingredients. Alright, so this is the list. Alright, so this is from the ingredient class, because we created an object that has the quantity, the name, and the unit. Alright, so basically we just want to multiply the quantity by the scale factor. Alright, so the scale factor is whatever the user chooses to input over here. Alright, so moving on, we have an if statement. Alright, because it's supposed to convert if 16 tablespoons is 1 cup. Alright, so we convert 16 tablespoons to 1 cup. Alright, so this if statement is basically doing that. Okay, and then we have our for color equals console, so this basically just changes the text color. We'll see that all in action. Alright, cool. So basically that's that class. It's a very simple thing. So here display original, here we have our original ingredients. It's back again. So basically this if statement here is just going to revert everything back to normal. If we have our 1 cup, it will revert back to 16 tablespoons and whatnot. Alright, so then we have our for each for steps to display the steps again. Then this is just for our normal display recipe. Basically does the same thing as the last method, but don't really think I need to walk us through that one. So here this is our public void clear recipe. Alright, so this is a really interesting one because we need to clear the recipe so that the user can enter a fresh one, and so they can see a new recipe and whatnot. Alright, so we have our confirmation. So that's going to store what the user enters. Do you want to clear your recipe? Yes, no. If the user says yes, it's going to clear everything. If they say no, and if the response is not no, if the response is not no, then anything but yes or no, it'll prompt invalid input. Alright, and then we have a while, basically, to loop everything to make sure that the message loops in it. Okay, so now let's move on. We have our program class. This is basically where all the magic comes together and becomes one big spell. So we have our while do not, so that if our condition is true, the menu does exits and whatnot, and then alright, so basically we have a switch case. We ask the user to enter a number, then we call the methods create recipe, display, scale, and then this exits the application. This is our default if the user doesn't enter anything. So yeah, let's run this. Let's see how it works. Alright, so this is gonna be a real fun one. Right, let's just wait for it to compile. Alright, and we're in. Okay, so this is our welcome to recipe creation application. Ooh, look how good it looks. So we're gonna say 2, right? So recipe 4, there's nothing. Alright, so we don't have anything. We don't need to reset or scale. There's nothing to scale yet. So first we're gonna create something. Right? We're gonna create juice. Alright, juice. Alright, number of ingredients. So here we're gonna need 2. Right, 2 ingredient name Oros. Right, so we're gonna pour some Oros inside our cup. So how much Oros do we need? We need about 1, let's say 3 tablespoons. Alright, then our next ingredient, water. Alright, ingredient quantity 1. How many? 1 cup. Alright, number of steps 2. Okay, add 3 tablespoons of Oros to cup. Add water. Add about 1 cup of water. Right, perfect. So we're gonna display this. Alright, there we have it, our ingredients with the steps. Alright, this is lovely. It's looking really good. Let's scale our recipe here to double. So we have 6 tablespoons and 2 cups of water. So it looks like it works. Let's try and reset it to default. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, let's reset this now. Yes, I do want to clear this thing. Yeah, okay, bet. So look, nothing, and then okay, looks like everything is working perfectly. 5, exit application. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, that's basically my thing. There's some bit of errors, but I think it's too late to fix them now. So yeah, I'm done.